Across every ancient civilization, myths were never just entertainment. They were the language of the soul, coded messages passed down through generations to teach humanity how to navigate fear, desire, love, death, and transformation. When you read of gods battling monsters, of heroes descending into darkness only to rise again, you're not reading about distant imaginary worlds. You're reading a map of your own psyche, a blueprint of the struggles, wounds, and awakenings that shape your existence. From Greek legends of Zeus and Hades to the Egyptian journeys through the underworld, every myth hides a mirror, showing you the forgotten parts of yourself. These stories whisper truths that modern psychology is only beginning to rediscover. That the monsters you fight outside are the shadows you deny within. That every hero's journey is a call to awaken to who you truly are. Myths are not dead tales. They're alive, pulsing through your subconscious, waiting for you to decode their meaning and claim their wisdom. Every ancient myth carries layers of meaning, and beneath the surface narrative lies a map of your emotional and spiritual evolution. Take the story of Persephone, stolen away to the underworld. On the surface, it's about a goddess and a kingdom of shadows. But deeper, it speaks of your own descent into pain, loss, and transformation. The underworld is the subconscious, the dark parts of you that hold forgotten memories and repressed emotions. Persephone's journey is a reminder that you must enter this darkness to reclaim your power, to awaken the dormant seeds of wisdom that only grow in shadow. Myths like these were never warnings to avoid the dark. They were invitations to enter it consciously. Ancient people understood that every trial, every monstrous challenge mirrored the inner battle of the soul longing to become whole. When you see these myths as personal reflections, they stop being distant tales and become instructions for awakening. The myths of heroes like Hercules facing his 12 labors aren't about physical strength alone. They're blueprints for overcoming the invisible struggles inside you. Each monster he faced symbolizes a fear, a temptation, or a wound that must be confronted and integrated. These stories were spiritual manuals disguised as adventures, teaching ancient listeners how to face their own inner chaos. The psyche is a labyrinth, filled with both light and shadow, and mythology was humanity's first guide to navigating it. Modern psychology merely rediscovered what ancient myths already taught, that true power is not in defeating the monster outside, but in transforming the one within. When you read these myths as instructions rather than entertainment, you awaken an ancient memory within yourself, a knowing that you too are the hero of your own myth, forging meaning and awakening through every challenge you endure. If you found this journey into the hidden wisdom of mythology eye-opening, there's so much more waiting for you. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you never miss a single video that unlocks the forgotten truths of the human soul and the mysteries shaping your life's path. The myths of gods and goddesses were never meant to be worshipped blindly. They were mirrors of the human psyche, reflecting the deepest aspects of our soul. Zeus, Athena, Isis, and countless others symbolize inner forces, wisdom, rage, nurturing, and transformation. Ancient storytellers encoded these qualities into divine figures so we could recognize them within ourselves. The battles of the gods weren't celestial dramas but internal conflicts, showing us the struggle between ego and higher self, desire and discipline, chaos and harmony. These myths served as maps for inner alchemy, teaching humanity how to balance opposites and unite fragmented parts of the psyche. When we look past the literal stories and into their hidden messages, we see that mythology was never about distant deities. It was always about unlocking the divine potential inside us. The myths were not instructions on how to pray. They were keys to understanding who and what we truly are. Every myth contains a hero's journey, and this pattern exists within your own life. Heroes like Hercules or Odysseus weren't only legendary adventurers, they symbolized the soul's path of trial, growth, and awakening. Each monster they fought, each challenge they faced was a reflection of human fears, vices, and illusions that must be confronted to rise to a higher state of being. Myths taught that the real dragons are within: pride, greed, ignorance, despair. Conquering them transforms you into something greater. These stories also revealed that every descent into darkness, like Orpheus venturing into the underworld, was necessary for gaining wisdom and reclaiming lost parts of oneself. Ancient mythology gave humanity a way to navigate suffering, courage, and transformation, showing that the spiritual journey is not a straight path to light, but a cycle of death and rebirth within the psyche. Ancient myths also served as maps for understanding relationships, power, and destiny. Stories of gods and mortals, Zeus's wrath, Aphrodite's allure, Loki's trickery, were not tales of distant beings but reflections of the energies and archetypes within you. They showed how love can enslave or liberate, how ambition can build worlds or destroy them, and how deception can trap the soul in cycles of pain. Myths revealed that the divine and the flawed coexist in every human heart, and that harmony is achieved not by denying these forces, but by integrating them consciously. Rituals, storytelling, and sacred theater in ancient cultures were tools to awaken the psyche, allowing individuals to witness their inner chaos on an external stage and begin the process of self-mastery. Through these myths, people learned that every life is a stage for the same eternal drama. The conflict between instinct and spirit, illusion and truth, chaos and order, darkness and light. But myths were never meant to be passive entertainment. They were initiation codes, guiding you through stages of awakening. The hero's journey wasn't just an old tale. It was a spiritual blueprint, showing how you, too, must leave comfort, face trials, descend into the underworld of your fears, and rise transformed. Ancient cultures used myths to teach resilience, courage, and surrender to higher wisdom. Every dragon you hear about in myths symbolizes a fear you must conquer. Every divine helper is your higher self calling you toward truth. Even tragedies held hidden gifts, showing that pain and loss can strip away illusions and reveal what's eternal. By seeing yourself in these timeless stories, you awaken to your divine potential and realize you're not just living a life. You're walking an ancient path trodden by countless souls before you, toward the same light of understanding and liberation. And here's the ultimate truth about mythology. These stories were never about gods in the sky or monsters outside of you. They were about your own inner cosmos. The ancients encoded wisdom into tales because stories bypass the mind's defenses and speak directly to the soul. When you engage with myths consciously, you awaken dormant archetypes within you. The warrior who faces fear, the healer who transforms pain, the seeker who dares to know truth. Myths are mirrors, reflecting who you've been, who you are, and who you can become. The real magic is that these ancient narratives are still alive, pulsing in your dreams, your struggles, your victories. By understanding mythology as a spiritual language, you reclaim a forgotten map of your psyche, a guide leading you toward self-mastery, divine connection, and awakening far beyond ordinary life. What if the myths you thought were just ancient stories were actually blueprints of your own soul's journey? Would you dare to decode them and face what they reveal about you?